Yo, what's up everybody? Robot Vice here. Today I'm going to be bringing you another commentary. I made a poll on Twitter seeing what game you guys would like to see the most, and since I have so many Earth Spirit games, I decided to do the commentary over Spirit Breaker this game. I'm going to give you guys an idea of how to play this hero in a high-level game. The notable players in this game are Jubei, Sammy Boy, IX Mike, and Husky. If you know NA Dota, you probably know who those guys are. So we're going to go into it here. I'll show you guys where I drafted it so you guys can see. Never mind, I guess you can't. Anyways, I picked him pretty early on after I saw the Warlock, and I thought this would be an interesting attempt to play. I picked him after we saw our Leshrac off lane. So, one, it provides a stun to set up for the Leshrac stun. And also, against a Warlock, he has no stun. I'm being a little salty. Spectre Warlock is like the new cancer of this meta right now. It's like the old coddle PL lane. So anyways, start off here with Stout Shield, 2 sets of Tangos, a Salve, and some Iron Branches. I end up pooling a Tango over to my Lifestealer. He didn't ask for it. I just saw that he started off with Oov Shield, so I decided to give him 1 additional Tango to help him in his lane. I have the Observer Ward up here.
30 seconds to battle.
And I'm going to show you guys how to play this position for Spirit Breaker. Lifestealer gets first blooded in the bottom lane. But here, we're going to contest some runes. I see that Spectre's thinking about going for this one. So I get this. I normally would skill Bash level 1, but in this case I wanted to help my Leshrac out. So I end up skilling Charge, and I charge in there onto the Spectre, and I start running at him and hitting him. And Spirit Breaker's really tanky. He's got a lot of HP, and he's got 5 armor, which is the most important part. He has 5 armor, so he can trade with anybody in the early lane, especially once you have a point in this Bash, which normally in a lane like this, you'd probably start with Bash level 1, but I started with Charge just to ensure that my Leshrac didn't take a bunch of damage during the rune fight. So you'll see here, just providing some harass in the lane. Fatal Bonds is one hell of a skill. Really messes us up. And this is obviously, Spectre Warlock is like one of the best lanes. Just watch this. Watch how much damage this Fatal Bonds does to both of us on 1 creep wave. So you'll see here, I ping the range creep. We get the range creep deny. That's really important. I talked about that last video. You're gonna want to do that in your pubs. Communicate with your lane partner and ensure that you can get denies and CS together, because 2 is better than 1. So here I see Warlock's doing a pull. I walk over and I'm trying to contest the pull, but he ends up getting it off, which is unfortunate. I charge in here. I just want to cancel his clarity. I noticed that that's his only clarity. He does have 2 mangoes, but and I'm chewing through my regen pretty fast. The one thing about the Spectre Warlock lane is that it will sustain forever, and you can't really out-trade them. You kind of have to go for these burst kills. You can't really kill them over time with damage. Here I just do a harass charge in because I noticed that my Leshrac's finishing off some creeps below, and I want to make sure that Spectre doesn't get free denies on these other creeps. So you see, Spectre just gets healed up, and with his dispersion, he's very tanky, very hard to kill early. So I salve up here. I'm completely out of regen, but I'm going to show you guys how strong Spirit Breaker is and how you can abuse him in the proper way. I charge through here. I end up completing this charge, but I notice it's not going to be a kill. So I just charge in here. It doesn't really matter to me what happens. You'll see I'm 10 mana away from my teleport scroll, and this is what I'm talking about when you can abuse Spirit Breaker, okay? So as soon as I have mana for my teleport, instead of charging bottom, I TP back home. And you can just charge out of the fountain, and you'll be right back to where you want to be. So you see here, I even buy boots. I sell a branch to make sure that I can get a clarity. And I start charging top. My last track does go down, unfortunately, during the time that I made that charge mid, but that happens. You can see here, we're losing every single lane right now. Nice bash. So right here, we can definitely go back in. So I hit a charge. Lesh gets the stun. But he somehow survives. I have no idea how. I want to actually go back and see what happened here. How much HP did he have? 20 HP? Okay. So he sits right here, and he ends up getting away. Pretty amazing, honestly. I cannot believe that he survived that, and that's just the power of Spectre. So now I know Spectre can't be here, so I charge back in even though I'm very low HP, and I'm kind of just getting out. I don't really care about my HP because I know that I have to go back to base. So you'll see me head over to the side shop. And I just about have enough mana for my TP. I pop a clarity to ensure that I can get the TP back home. And we're going to be charging back out. Same thing. Clarity, TP, and we're off. I have nowhere to charge, so I just charge the creep top to get me out of base quicker. And you can see here, like, I am very, very poor. You know, not even 1K net worth just yet as a position 4. And you can see the opposing position 4
marks the spot.
is sitting at 1,700 net worth.
The boom.
So here I'm charging in on this Kunkka. He just killed my Ember Spirit mid. I know this might be a kill if I get a lucky bash, but I end up not getting a lucky bash, so we just back off. He hits the shrine, kind of just forcing some pressure down. And you can see, like, so far I haven't really had much impact in this game. And that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. You can't always have an amazing start and kill everybody, but you can see I'm not feeding, and things aren't going so bad because the Spectre only has 1,900 net worth, so we're pressuring her very hard.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And here again, she barely gets away. I almost have enough for a charge, but I don't get vision of him. Feels really bad. Now I'm just trying to get some experience, get up in levels, pick up my stick. And we have the siege creep here, so I'm pretty sure that we want to go in here. I even clicked to fortify. I fortify our creeps to ensure our siege creep gets some more damage. And I charge in onto the Spectre. I end up canceling it, which is my mistake. It happens. Not the best. And I'm still pretty healthy, so I charge back in. And here I can just TP out if things get bad. I dodge the Spectre dagger, and we see that Tiny has rotated up. So I charge back in here trying to help my Leshrac survive. Not sure if he will. He ends up going down, but I actually get this trade kill, which is pretty nice. And I somehow make it out of here and survive, which is really good. So a 3-man gank to the top lane. We end up turning it around and getting one person. I hit this shrine, and I actually purchase a bracer, okay? I don't rush an urn. I don't rush for any kind of, like, upgraded boots. I just get a bracer. Stun misses on the Spectre. I am still charging in. Get a nice bash. And we force a tiny rotation up here. So he's going to come commit for me. Meanwhile, during all this, the tower is getting very low. And I end up getting stunned up here. I get tossed back into the tower. And I have nowhere to charge. I tried to charge to the mid lane, but he ended up killing the range creep that I was about to charge to. And then as I looked bottom, it was too late. So I ended up going down, but the three of them split 142 gold, so not too shabby.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And during this time, there's a lot of pressure going on in the mid lane, so Leshrac rotates over to mid since there's 3 top, and he starts editing the mid tower. I'm charging back into top to get some experience. And just forcing some rotations once again. So now we have 2 tier 1 towers that are very low. And all of our towers are pretty much 100% HP. Mid lane, some stuff goes down. I TP in and get the charge off onto the Tiny. We end up taking him out. Haunt is committed. And I think our Ember goes down here. Yeah, he gets X, so he's done. So they make a nice counter gank to us. Bounty runes are up in 30 seconds. I'm just charging back in top. This is actually a very risky play because somebody with a teleport scroll available, like this Lina, could just teleport up right now and kill me as I'm farming this. But I start backing off, and I'm mentioning to my team that we need to contest these bounty runes. I actually have a moment here where I saw 4 of them showing on the map. So I know that I'm safe to get this rune. And that's really important, guys. I have like I think all good players, they always have like a second eye, or their second eye while they're running around. They always have their eye on the mini map, scouting out every single time someone shows. And that's just something you notice and once you have experience playing. So my charge transfers here over to the Tiny. He ends up getting the stun off, so not great. Our Lifestealer goes down for their Lina, and our Bane goes down as well. I now have my second Bracer here. I charge back this Tiny. He's getting way too aggressive. I'm thinking about ulting, but it's just not worth it. So I end up finding the Tiny kill, which is good for us. Go hit up the shrine. I finish up my magic stick. And now I'm going in for power treads. I've got 2 bracers, a full magic stick, and I'm going in for treads. I'm going in for all stats, all tanking. I just want to tank up and become this frontliner for our team. Because we have a Leshrac, you know, Lifestealer. Charging in here. Decide to cancel it. I use my Clarity on my Ember Spirit, just so I noticed he didn't have one. So give him some mana. And now the game is going a little bit better for us. Our 2 cores are on top of the net worth. Our Lifestealer's got his Midas flying out right now. And things are looking a lot better.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So I have a few other games that I'm thinking about doing a commentary over, and I just really want to know what you guys think. Do you guys enjoy these kind of videos where I explain what I'm doing? Like, should this just be what all of my videos are? Do any of you actually just enjoy watching the raw gameplay from my stream? Or do you guys like when I just comment over games? Because I could upload just these. But, you know, I play 6 to 7 games a night. And I feel like some of those I really want you guys to see. And I can't sit here every day and make a commentary over every single game. So I thought just uploading the games themselves from the VOD was good. So I charge in here. I end up getting canceled by the tiny avalanche. I ult the Warlock. I'm trying to kill him. We want to try to kill him before he gets his ult off. We do so. He ends up buying back, which is very scary for us. I get X'd up here. Luckily, I salve up during this time. I charge in here, but just look at this. Lol. I end up canceling it eventually, but I'm just trying to get in here and die, basically. I want to try to tank for my team. All I want to do is get in there and distract the enemies from killing my cores. I don't care about my own life at that point. They take out the tiny, and here comes the Ember. And things end up working out for us down there. The Warlock ult was used, Spectre ult was used. I'm going to pause here to discuss this. This is really important to note. They have two very large ultimates and long cooldown ultimates on their team. We have Fiend's Grip, you know, which is 120 seconds, and that's about it. You know, my ult's really not that important as far as the tempo of the game. Our only ultimate, which this isn't even really that important as far as the tempo of the game because we have so much other catch. We have a Leshrac going, a Yule's. We have an Ember Spirit. We have a Bane. We have a Spirit Breaker. They, on their team, they have, you know, Lina, Tiny, and Kunkka, which are great because they all have just low CD skills. Like Ghost Ship, very low CD. But this Spectre and Warlock ultimate allows us to control when to take fights and when to do things because they can't fight us without those two ultimates as long as the game remains semi-even. So that's what we play around in this game, and that's something you guys should remember in your games is about like long ultimates and making sure you're keeping track of them. Also, another thing is rune control. You'll notice that, you know, every 2 minutes I'm always trying to check the rune. If you watch my stream, you can know that I try, if I'm a support and I'm in the area, I always try to check the rune at the 2-minute mark. You never know what it's going to be. It could be a game-changing rune. So just keep that in mind as well as a support. Here, I notice they're going towards our Ember Spirit. I end up turning around here and using my ult on the Kunkka. He gets, this Tiny makes an amazing play and tosses the Kunkka away and keeps him alive, which is incredible. And this Warlock ends up going down, and we end up taking out the Tiny. So great for us. I TP top to try to get some bounty runes, but it turns out Spectre had already taken them. Token? Is that even a word? I don't know. So now I'm coming up in the top lane here. I noticed Spectre's up here, and I'm like, guys, we can kill this Spectre. We can kill this Spectre, but I kind of hesitate. I thought he might go for this creep wave, but I end up not charging him, which in retrospect, maybe I should have. I thought that immediately after the case, but I ended up not doing it, which isn't, you know, not the worst in the world, but just something, you know, you can always, hindsight is 20/20, you know. So I've got my power treads now. This hero really doesn't farm very well at all. So just something to keep in mind. You're not going to like farm like an Earth Spirit, you know, with his Boulder Smash. He can farm creep waves and whatnot. Once he's level 15, he gets the Rolling Boulder talent. He can farm pretty fast. This hero doesn't do that. This hero, you're going to end the game with something like, you know, maybe a Shadow Blade if you're lucky, probably like Blade Mail, Spirit Vessel if it's like a 30-minute game, 40-minute game. And those are just from kills alone, basically, because you don't have any kind of farming utility, like move, except your charge, which has a constant 11-second cooldown, and you need to use that. And if your charge goes on CD, you know, the way you play around it, it could be really bad. Go in here, end up getting a triple kill, and Haunt was committed, so that's great for us. And we end up catching the Spectre here. I said, guys, we can catch the Spectre. And my life stealer comes down. I'm going to go back in time here just so I can explain the thought process. So here,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So here the Spectre shows on this creep wave for half a second, and I TP down immediately, okay? I want to make sure, like, I see him semi-low. I know my life stealer's right here. The Spectre thinks he can just walk over here, buy a TP, and TP back home. But I TP down, and I charge immediately because I know this is the most important kill in the game. We're trying to shut down her Radiance. So I get my ulti, and we take out the Spectre. Now I'm pinging out. Let's take the Shrine. I'm building towards an Urn of Shadows. Another item that will give you, you know, a little bit more just kind of minor stats, some armor. So, coming back in charge, and I end up not shrining. I'm kind of just running in here like a psycho. That's kind of what you got to do on Spirit Breaker. You'll see here, this is hilarious. Watch this. So our life stealer ends up going down, which is really bad. And I go in for the charge. And it doesn't work out. With the change to the charge, it's your current movement speed is how you charge in, so not the best. Scout out Spectre top. I want to TP up here and get a charge on her. All about just, I don't want her to not have space. I'm pinging, I don't want her to have space, I mean. So I'm pinging out where I know she will be farming based on her movements from the creep wave. So she daggered here, and I saw her run down this way. So that means she's probably farming right here. So immediately I TP up, and my Ember scouts out the Spectre, and I charge in. So this Spectre is completely shut down. She doesn't even have a relic yet, and it's 18 minutes. And things are going very well for us. I've got my Urn of Shadows now, and like I said, you know, I'm not as farmed as the other position 4. I don't know who was offlane and who's position 4. I assume it's a Lina pause 4 and a Tiny 3. I'm not really sure. At this point, it kind of looks like the Lina's position 3, but who knows? He's going in here. I'm charging. I end up canceling just because our Bane's bottom and our Ember's a little far away. Our life stealer ends up not going for Radiance this game. It's a pretty good counter to Spectre. If you just go for this Armlet Deso, you can kind of chunk down the Spectre. One of the few heroes that can really deal damage to the hero. Scout out this Warlock, placing a ward. End up charging him. So we've got complete map control at this point. They're kind of on the back seat, or in the back seat. And we're kind of just watching our life stealer farm and trying to get objectives while we can. So we walk uphill here, and they scout me out immediately. I don't really care about dying. I'm just kind of the sacrifice here. Haunt comes in, and we end up getting golemed as well. I get my ulti after a clutch stick. I end up surviving for a little bit longer. I end up going down to a Tidebringer, but the fight's going well. Both ultis were committed, and we're still ahead right now. Our Ember and Lifestealer are still alive, and the Spectre's on the run.
The rune of we just
Pick up the tome, and we end up getting the bounty runes. So great for us. As soon as I spawn, I end up charging up to the top lane. Just a way of getting out of the base quicker. Or I end up charging to these. Oh, I end up canceling it on these creeps to farm them because it was in my path. Now I charge back up top. Just going to push out this lane. They catch the Spectre out here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So once again, Spectre even purchased the Radiance recipe there so she wouldn't lose as much gold from dying. And she's still 1,100 gold away from her Radiance.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now I notice my team's trying to make a push mid, so I charge to the bottom lane to get me out faster. Just get me closer. You can abuse this charge to get around the map. That's what it's there for.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You can see here, like, we get the tier 3 tower there. You can see, like, this Bane almost has as much net worth as I do. And that's just kind of how it goes on this hero. This hero's not a position 4 that scales infinitely into the late game. He doesn't have a GPM talent or an XPM talent. His talents really aren't that great. I'd say his best talent is probably his level 25, his plus 800 HP, which is really nice. I don't even think you take the greater bash chance unless you're like transitioned with like BKB and some other stuff. Bane just throws out the grip here. I do a follow-up charge trying to ensure that the Warlock doesn't get his ulti off to cancel the grip, but it's kind of just a wasted grip at this point. Pump fake in the ulti. And we take a melee barracks. A really nice Golem to Fatal Bonds comes out. I charge in, and it looks like my life will be over. I just tell my team to back up. We've got what we came for. We got the objective. But Sammy Boy is Sammy Boy, and he insists on going back in.
Dire's middle barracks is fallen.
We scout out the Spectre just a little bit down here. We don't know where he is. Spectre still doesn't have the Radiance 24 minutes in.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
I TP down to the bottom lane, and I'm kind of just waiting for something to happen, so I'm hitting some creeps. I have my Blade Mail completed now, and I'm charging the Spectre in mid. Bane gets the grip off, and while my team's killing bottom, we're kind of just chilling down here. Blade Mail comes in clutch here when the Spectre uses her dagger, gets hit by it, and we kill the Spectre again. So Spectre, no Radiance the entire game. She may have to buy back here even, and that's pretty much the game. The Spectre disconnects, blah, 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 and the game ends. So overall, just some notes to consider. Spirit Breaker, you're not going to farm like other heroes farm on position 4. It's just not going to be like that. And just make sure you're abusing your charge to go back to base. You can TP home and charge back out to lanes. You can be there in 10 seconds. Just make sure you're doing that in the laning phase. You can even go back. It's similar to like a Kunkka X marks the spot on a teammate, or go back to fill a bottle. You can bring your teammates items. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Make sure you're using that. That's one of the, you got to make sure you're pushing and manipulating the tools that you're given on each hero, and you're supposed to be pushing them to the maximum. So I know there might be some other high-level players watching this, and they think I played poorly or something. I'm not sure. I don't play this hero super often. I haven't played him in quite some time. But I thought I did a pretty good job of pressuring the Spectre in lane to ensure that she wasn't just free farming. Our lane definitely took some hits because our Leshrac wasn't very farmed, but to do that, the Spectre wasn't very farmed, and my Lifestealer was very farmed. So that's kind of what it's all about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this commentary. I hope you guys learned something, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.